Hey there, this is Jean Roman with For Dragonflies and Me, and welcome to another episode of Jean in the Kitchen. Thanks so much for joining me here. If this is your first time, welcome. I'm thrilled to have you here. Again, my name is Jean Roman, and you are at For Dragonflies and Me. So this is my YouTube channel, but I also have a very active blog at fordragonfliesandme.com, as well as a crazy cool Facebook and Instagram page. I also do a podcast. So you have lots of options to learn all different kinds of things, both in the kitchen, in the garden, and even some home organization and decor tips here. But today is a kitchen day. And so what I'm doing today is I'm making one of my boys' favorite meals. And if you follow me at all, you know that we really like Italian and Mexican dishes, and that is oftentimes what we make. So today is my incredibly delicious chicken pesto pasta. And this was a recipe that we actually had at a restaurant. And I told my daughter, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like, how does he make this? And she was the one who figured out that they were combining both Alfredo sauce, which I make an incredible one, and a pesto sauce, which again, I have an incredible recipe for. So I am going to direct you to my blog after, again, if this is your first time, for the complete list of ingredients as well as the instructions on how to make this. But I do want to give a big shout out to Modern Greek Salad Bar. Well, it's actually Modern Greek Restaurant and Salad Bar. It's an incredible restaurant in downtown Dearborn. Sam Hyder is the owner, and he is an incredible human being. And this was actually the restaurant that I first had this recipe, and it was to die for. So we came home and we made our own version of it that I'm going to share with all of you now. So before I get into it, please be sure to smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, and for sure leave me a comment. Do you have a recipe similar to this? So I have my noodles cooking, boiling in the background right now. I'm going to turn the heat off, and I'm going to let those boil for a few minutes. This is what I use. I use the Salentini noodles. I can never pronunciate that word, but these are our favorite for this dish. And they're like a corkscrew. And so if you go to a lot of restaurants, this is the pasta noodle that they use for homemade mac and cheese. So first things first, while the noodles are cooking, and I am going to make the Alfredo sauce. I've already made my pesto sauce because doing both of them was kind of a long video. But again, that recipe and instructions are going to be at my blog at fordragonfliesandme.com. All the links are going to be in the description below. And the chicken is already cooked. This is a total of about 2 of the nice breasts. And if you follow my recipes, you always see the breasts I use. They are from an Amish farmer up in the middle of the thumb that we work with and get our meat from a local butcher shop. So I cut these into about bite-sized portions, about 1 inch by 1 inch. And then I just cook those in a frying pan with a little bit of my olive oil, my garlic infused olive oil. So I am turning my pot on right now. And first things first, there are 4 simple ingredients to an incredible Alfredo sauce. Simply butter, milk, Parmesan cheese, and cream cheese. I prefer whipped cream cheese, so that's what I use. And I'm going to grab a little spoon here so I can clear that bowl up. So the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to take a whole stick of butter. I'm going to turn this down because I certainly do not want to brown this butter. And this thing is so persnickety. Okay, so I'm going to put those in there and put that over there. And I'm going to get that melted. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of my milk. Not all of it, but I want to cool down my butter. So again, I don't want to make brown butter, but I will show you this summer once I dig up some of my baby potatoes on how to make brown butter potatoes. They are so good. I'm coming up with another recipe here shortly, friends, on parsley potatoes. We're going to have some whitefish later in the week that I'll be doing a recipe for, and I'll be doing parsley potatoes with that and show you that. So now I have a 16-ounce container of whipped cream cheese. You can use the regular cream cheese, but I like the whipped because it melts way faster in this dish than anything else. So scoop the rest of that out, get that in there. And then I'm going to start, got that all in there. Oops, sorry guys, did not sound nice. So I'm going to beat that in there, and I'm going to whisk it up. Does not take long. This is a super easy recipe, and it is absolutely delicious. And to contend with any other major Italian restaurants out there, I think my Alfredo sauce is better. So I'm not going to say any names, but you guys can figure it out. So here's the consistency right now. So it's kind of like whipped cream. It's the consistency of whipped cream. So now I am going to add the rest of my milk and get that in there. I'm going to whisk it up a little bit more. And then I also save the broth for this recipe only. This is not how I make my Alfredo sauce. Right here is the consistency it should be. And then I am taking the broth that I have from cooking my chicken. Again, this is not how I do it for my regular Alfredo sauce. And I will also be saying that in my blog. But I'm going to add that as well, because for this recipe, it's perfect. And then I'm going to take my Parmesan cheese, just grated Parm, and I'm going to whisk that in there. And then I'm going to stir my noodles because I'm a woman and we can multitask. No offense, male friends, you guys do it good. If you're a cook, you can multitask. There you go. So that's almost perfect. And my noodles are almost done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strain my noodles and I'm going to toss them in this big, beautiful bowl. Move this over here. So my sauce is done and it is absolutely delicious and beautiful and perfect. And I'm going to show you the consistency. So there it is. So it's a little more runny than it would normally be. And that is because I added that little bit of chicken broth. But it really does make all the difference. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this heat off. And I'm going to move this burner out of my way. Again, sorry folks. And I'm going to pour this Alfredo sauce into my big bowl. Toss that over there. And then I'm going to take my prepared pesto sauce and pour that in there. And I'm not going to lie, folks. The first time I saw this, I was like, oh my God, that is not going to be good. But let me just tell you, it is absolutely delicious. Okay. So I'm going to blend those two together. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. So there you go. So you can see it's kind of like a sagey, olivey green. And then I'm going to toss my prepared chicken in there. Toss that over there. And I'm going to mix all that in there too. And then I'm going to add my noodles. So my noodles are going to be just about done. I'm going to, one guy wants to get stuck in there. Okay, there we go. So in the meantime, let me stir my noodles and check them. I can generally tell by looking at them, and I think they need a couple more minutes. So we're going to let those cook for a second. And I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit more. So if, again, you are new to my show here, I am also the author of an incredibly wonderful cookbook from my Mennonite years. And so all of you that followed me for, oh my gosh, since 2012, know that I spent 15 years as a Mennonite in a church in the Thumb of Michigan. And during that time, me and another woman in my church compiled this book. So one day I had gone to her and I knew she had written another book at a church in Missouri that she was a part of. And I was like, I want to make a cookbook. Well, how do we do this? And so we went through the steps and we found the publishing company that we were going to do it through. And then we started compiling all the recipes from the other women in the church. So this cookbook is about 500 pages, spiral bound softcover with almost 1,000 recipes in it. And 100 of them are mine in particular. So it's a really, really good cookbook. It also has an incredible canning and preserving, freezing storage area. So I love to can and I love to cook. So I wanted a cookbook that was going to have everything I wanted in one book. Well, I'm sure you all understand now, friends, I have a lot more recipes, and that's why I'm working on my second cookbook. I had really hoped to have it done for Mother's Day, but it is taking me a little longer than what I had anticipated with everything else I'm putting together. So be patient. I'm going to be getting you information on that and sending out some teasers. But you can purchase my Lovingly Seasoned Eats and Treats right now at my website at fordragonfliesandme.com. And if you are a person that doesn't want a hard copy of it, you can get a downloadable PDF version of it as well at my blog. So let's check those noodles, everybody. All right, these are looking better. I'm going to test one and see if they are. Dip it in there a little bit. Magnifique. Oh my God, it's so good. Okay, so I'm going to drain my noodles. And then we are going to toss them in this. And then I'm actually serving this with my homemade bruschetta. And you can see that recipe also at my blog. So this is about a 1.5 box because I have my growing boys and Dave to feed. So this is a hefty amount of food, and I do realize that. You can see, oops. All right, so there you go. This is a big bowl. It's probably a 2-gallon bowl. But as you can see, this is a beautiful, I got a noodle in there. There we go. And I am going to mix it all together. You can add a little more chicken. One thing I really like to encourage all of you when you're doing any of my recipes is swap up some ingredients. If you don't like something spicy, like I just did a spicy shrimp scampi, don't make it spicy. I find so many recipes, make them as I find them, and then I alter them to what my family likes. And that is the beauty of cooking. Cooking, unlike baking, is not quite as much of a science. And I think that's why my daughter's a baker and I am a cooker. I like to be able to switch it up. And Dave is kind of the same way. Dave's philosophy is always, there's no such thing as a predetermined recipe. And I do not agree with him, and we don't argue, but we debate often on that because some things, in my opinion, just do not go together. But Dave is much more willing to try things than I am. So, but anyways, so this is my incredible chicken pesto pasta. And as you can see, friends, it is scrumptious. I will have some beautiful food pictures at my blog at fordragonfliesandme.com. So friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. Quick tutorial on how to make a quick, easy dish. Total time for everything with prepping, maybe 40 minutes. But I always appreciate you stopping by, and I want to say thank you. Be sure to smash that subscribe button. Excuse me, friends. Smash that like button. And remember, as I always say, be sure to eat fresh, shop local, and have a happy day. Appreciate you guys. Bye now.